All right. Hello and welcome, and thank you for coming. It is November 22nd, 2022. This is an upload of, playlist. This is an upload of a Twitter Spaces conversation I did yesterday. This is conversation number 22. These are awesome conversations. If you're a new trader, especially, you want to make sure you go back and listen to them. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit play now, and I'm going to let this play. I'll be here in the background, and I'll check in with you folks from time to time. So enjoy. All right, everybody. Give it a few minutes. I'm going to attach some tweets to the spaces, and then I'll be sending out a few more messages just to get people interested and let them know. So just kind of hang on there for a little bit while I get things started. All right, everybody? All right, first tweet I'm attaching is a new follower packet. It's going to have, attach it. It's going to have textbook recommendations. It has links to tutorials, like on my YouTube. It's got links to the free version of my book, Bitcoin Live, and more of these Twitter Spaces. Let's see what else I want to include. I'm going to include a link to. Let's see. I'm going to include a link to Trading Wisdom just so people have that. I'm going to attach that to the Twitter Spaces. And then one more, I'm going to attach so people often ask about Bitcoin Live. I'm going to attach like a link to the Bitcoin Live. I did like a report on May 4th, which is public, just for anybody who's interested. It's a good thing to check out. So I'm attaching that tweet as well at the top. All right, I have 3 tweets going. The Bitcoin Live tweet, my book, and also just new follower packet, just to just for new people. So everybody's trickling in. I'm now going to send out a tweet, just to share via tweet to let people know. Join and ask questions, BTC. All right, so I did a Twitter Spaces last week. I usually do one of these about once a week. It's a really great format because I'm just hanging out and I get to hear from you. I mean, we can tweet back and forth. We don't know what each other are saying. There's no real context. It's just words. Nuance is lost. So I really like these Twitter Spaces. They allow us to connect. They also help me kind of get a good feel for sentiment and like what the market is going on. But that's good for me. But for you folks, this is these are just great if you're a new trader, because every Twitter Spaces I do, I get 20 or 30 questions just from regular folks like you. And it's probably the stuff that you're kind of wondering about. So if you go to my YouTube channel, there's a playlist called Twitter Spaces. This will be, I think, number 22, kind of episode 22. Check that out. I am, of course, the author of Trading Wisdom. Get it on Amazon, or you can get it for free on my YouTube channel, Ched's Trading. Check out the masterclass playlist. Check out the Ask Me Anythings. Check out my market updates. And if you're serious about learning how to trade, you want to check out Bitcoin Live. I think we have the best team in the world that studies crypto, and I believe it with all my heart. And I've been part of it for 4 years, more than 4 years. I personally do a twice a week full market update. I'm just one contributor. So consider checking that out. But anyway, here we are. So here, the format is you ask questions and we talk. It's not me just talking the whole time. I'm not here to lecture. So there's a button in the bottom left of your screen. It says, I think, request to speak. There's a little microphone button. And what that's going to do is going to let me know you want to talk. You want to ask a question. And once we've got it going and we have enough people, I'll bring you up. And then kind of one at a time, I'll call out your name and we can have a conversation. So for right now, I need you folks to start to request to speak. Currently, nobody is requesting to speak. So I'm going to wait until we get a list of people who would like to speak. We'll give it just a few moments. Please hit that button in the bottom left. If you've listened to these, and the feedback is great, I know you love them, but if you've listened and you've never come up and spoke and you've never asked a question, today, right now, it's going to be a great opportunity, a great time for you to do that. So I'm just going to take a few moments here and wait till we get a few more people stepping up and wanting to ask questions, and then we will get this rolling. So thank you. So what I'm going to do, we're getting a few people requesting now. I'm going to bring you up. I'll have you muted at first. Wait till I call your name and you can unmute yourself after that point. All right. So we're starting it here. I'm going to bring you up and just wait till I call your name, please. All right. Wait until I call your name. And we're almost ready. Let's go with, and again, you got to let me mute you. All right. Let me mute you. All right. Crypto Wisdom by, Haroon. What's up, man? Haroon, why don't you go first?
Hello, Cheds. How are you?
Good, man. How you been, Haroon?
I'm good, thanks. So, Cheds, what is your advice to the traders that have been going through the bear market? You see, it's very easy to trade in the bull market, and but what is the advice for you for traders to just watch or to just DCA or to just wait for the bottom?
Well, if you're in a bear market, you should be shorting. You should be selling the rips, right? In an uptrend, you want to buy the dips. In a downtrend, you want to sell the rips, right? Because your whole idea is you want to trade with the trend, right? And it depends. If you're like a long only, this new trading view
talking about the spot.
Haroon, you got to go again. I
Talking
lost
about the
you. What are you saying?
spot. For those traders who want to buy in the your advice.
Are you asking me people who want to go long and they want to buy spot, like what I think? Is that your question? We're having trouble, Haroon. I think, but I think I have your question. It's great to hear from you again. Yeah, it depends on your time frame. If you can buy and hold, you'll probably be okay in a few years. But there's no guarantee it doesn't go lower. I mean, I can tell you what I'm personally doing. It's literally no change from the last two spaces. Or on Twitter, right? I need to see it above 18.2 to get interested in a long. Otherwise, I'm just going to wait till we drop to the 12K area and then see what the price does there. It's an area of interest. It's not an automatic buy. I would never automatically buy there. Unless it dropped there really quickly, then I might start to take a position just even into the blood. But it's an area of interest. I'll kind of watch and wait. But I'm definitely not doing anything here. Hard abs. Hard abs. What would you like to say today? Thank you for joining the conversation.
Hey man, how are you? Remember me from last time?
The picture, I asked you if you had the Coolio picture.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I appreciate it you bringing me on. I just basically I'm still strong on the bear cycle here in full swing, and obviously there's really bad bad news in the market right now because it's basically the contagion and all that. And, but yeah, I was just wondering what your thoughts were on, crypto regulation rather than just talking about the charts at this point in time, because obviously I'm going to basically throw out there again, 10 to 12K is probably going to be, in the cards most likely here. But fundamentally, do you think that the whole Genesis, I'm not sure you've been following that at all, and I could fill you in if need be, but
why don't you tell us your thoughts? Because I don't really have a strong opinion. What do you think about it?
Genesis, yeah, I mean, they're asking for that $1 billion loan by the end of business today. That's and I've been hearing rumors throughout Twitter if it's it's basically unsuccessful at this point in time, unless we would have heard about that right now. But yeah, that $1 billion loan is probably not going to go through. It would basically look really bad for DCG and $1 billion is no joke, and obviously that would basically cripple the Gemini earn, because they're obviously partnered up with the staking rewards and all that. But I just think it's really horrible. That's not going to be good at all, because they are also tied with Grayscale. Grayscale is also saying that they're not trying to basically give their wallet addresses for verification of how much BTC and ETH they're holding. But Coinbase came out today earlier and said that Grayscale does have over 600,000 BTC in their holdings there. So it's just really strange to me. Grayscale is not in a good position right now, especially with their their GBTC trading less than 50% discount or whatever.
Do you think there's a risk in over analyzing fundamentals here?
Well, I take it into consideration for sure when I'm actually going long or short on something. But
yeah,
I think it's strong enough that, since that's basically moving the markets at this point in time.
But the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Okay.
But obviously, I'm looking at the
just the
chart
trend? Is it just the trend? I mean, is it the fundamentals or is it the trend?
It's obviously the trend too. I mean, I think from me, my standpoint, it's both. They're both tying together. The trends is really strong downward. It's broken out of this bear flag, which I don't know. It's kind of holding at this point in time, but yeah, for me, it broke down this semi bear flag on the 4 hour.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on all of this?
I think you're making fine points. There's a question of how much visibility do me and you, like a couple of guys in spaces, like how much visibility do we really have on like what's going on? And I think in such a headline sensitive environment where we're already conditioned for max fear right now, like it's easy to interpret every piece of news as like doom and gloom.
Right.
It's really hard to be objective here. I just really don't know. And there's some great spaces, have been some great spaces recently, and FA podcasts that I think address this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been reading about it, hearing about it. I don't really, have like one sense one way or another. I know people long talked about grayscale, and we've seen the issue with the discount like getting wider and wider, and that like not being a good sign for grayscale. I couldn't like draw a map and tell you like who owns what and how it's connected. That's kind of not my thing. I just think we're in, for me, and my simple approach is just like, what's the price telling me? And we're just, we're below support. We lost support 18K, 18.2, and we're just kind of in a no man's land between 18 and, 12K. I don't see anything actionable there from a trade standpoint. And I actually I haven't taken a trade in like a week.
Yeah.
Like why? What am I going to do here? I'm not just going to give away, I'm not going to pay the market makers, for his vacation house. So,
but how deep do you go into the DXY? Because obviously it's kind of pivoted and now it's on its trek upwards, but it's very bullish in my opinion, right?
It's still bullish. It's still above the MA 200. I mean, that's an uptrend on according to classical charting. I mean, it's an uptrend still. And uptrends like have a lot of like a strong trend. Like DXY has been. I mean, it's cooled off a lot recently. Like everybody would know that, but when it was at like whatever 115, 116, or 15, like a trend that strong has a lot of room to give up and still be bullish. That's the thing where we have to be careful calling tops too soon. It's like, where do you draw the line in the sand? And like a bull trend can consolidate, go down a lot, and still be bullish. And that's what we still have with the Dixie, right? I know a lot of things are watching now. We're seeing like metals trying to break out, silver's trying to break out, came back, it failed. And now, over 21, maybe we'll break out again. Gold's a little bit better, but, a lot of things are waiting for the Dixie to cool off. So, I mean, how far do I go with it? How far does it go? What do we bounce? I think right now, like if you think about the Dixie, like how should you conceptualize it? Well, we can just look where it just bounced, which was like 105, right? So we're at 108 now, 107. If we get below 105, it's probably done, right?
Yeah.
If we lose this most recent, like that needs to be the higher low, like at some point. You say, okay, this is the higher low. This is the higher low I'm willing to defend. But man, I mean, the daily, that's weekly. I'm looking at weekly. But yeah, still that level. You'd want to hold 105. But MA 200 is right there. It's the same area. So until it's below the MA 200 and below 105, you got to give full credit to the bulls and just assume the trend continues, at least the way I look at it.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you, bro. So, folks, before I go to our next speaker, I want you to hit that request button. There's just one brave soul. It's Ebram. I've seen him around many times. He's a friend of the show. But we've got like a couple hundred of you folks listening and one person asking to speak. What kind of a community involvement is that? Come on, folks, step it up. This is your chance to speak, especially if you just listen most of the time and you have a question. Like, you don't want to ask me a question. Like, you don't want to, like, let's talk about it. Like, tell me what you think is going on. Ask me what I think. Let's create some value here for the community. You need to request to speak. Hit that button in the bottom left. Ebram, why don't you go ahead, Ebram? Tell us what's going on, man.
Hey, man, how's it going?
Pretty good. What's up with you today?
Yeah, I'm just watching this game between Netherlands and Senegal in the World Cup, and it's pretty boring. So I thought, why don't I just jump into Spaces?
That's
And
it. Everyone's watching World Cup. That's why they're not.
yeah,
They're
I
not
was just
asking
looking at the
questions.
number of people you have in the Spaces, like 200 people listening.
Yep.
Either you could blame the World Cup, or it's pretty much a boring market, to be honest. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, have people given up? I don't know.
Yeah. A lot of people have given up, but there's a lot of, it's interesting. And by the way, folks, nobody's requesting to speak. I'm disappointed. Hit that button in the bottom left. Like this, I will end this Spaces prematurely if nobody else steps up to speak, right? I'm not going to take my time if you don't want to, take advantage of it. Ebram, I'm seeing some people starting to, they like the blood here. Some of the really good traders I follow are talking about, starting to buy in and buying the blood. And I see a lot of people putting out these theses where it's okay to buy here because it's going to be good in 2 or 3 years. So you're seeing people who are, have seen enough damage done and are starting to, scale in. And I see that I'm not one of them. I'm waiting to lower, but I think we're seeing a little bit of a shift. And I think that corresponds with the sentiment bottom, which I think is much more formed than like a price bottom, right, Ebram?
Yeah, I agree. Like, there are a lot of people who I've been seeing a lot on Twitter right now. People who are saying, "Yeah, a lot of damage has been done. It's almost an 80% drop." I
Right.
get that for the sake of trading and taking short-term swings, this might not be a very good setup, though. Like, maybe if people are interested in, hey, I'm gonna have my hodl bag and I'm gonna sell it like in 3 years' time. Sure, like buying at 16K versus 12K may not make a huge difference.
Right.
Yeah, but then like one thing that was happening last week, actually, I was on a flight and I don't know, like movies, they were not working, so I did this boring thing of reading your book. But yeah, it was again like a good. By the way, like, I want to give you credits on the way the book is written for in a like simple terms, somebody who's relatively new into the trading space, they don't know what they're doing. You actually have some very good strategies there, like look for horizontals, look for defined ranges. And I think just looking at the basics and the fundamentals of like very, very basic trading techniques there was actually pretty helpful, because in one way I'm trying to hold back from clicking that buy bottom randomly in the middle of a channel right now. I mean, like, we're just hanging in no man's land, to be honest.
It's boredom. Like nothing will nothing. And thank you for reading and thank you for the compliment. And the feedback. I mean, nothing will destroy a bankroll more than boredom trading. I mean, that's just it, right? Like, it's so much hard sitting on your hands. It's really hard, but you have to, because real opportunities will hit you in the face. They'll just jump up, and you'll say, "All right, I'm glad I waited. I'm glad I have capital."
Yeah, and I keep thinking that, okay, in the end, maybe, I don't know, we'll get this overnight wick down to 12, and then it recovers back to 16. But then, okay, maybe I'm buying again at 16, but at least I have seen something on the chart that tells me, here is some volume. We wicked up. We had a spring. Maybe this was a bear trap, and this was the bottom.
Well, a V. If we get a V, then it's the bottom.
Yes, that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, me too, man. It's good to hear from you today, brother. All right.
Good to hear you. Yeah, thank you.
Keep an eye out for book 3. It's coming soon. All right.
Yep, waiting for it.
Thanks, man. All right, you folks stepped up. Thank you. We got like 10 people who want to speak now. Oliver, it's your turn, Oliver.
Hi, Chad. It's always appreciative of your content and your time. Okay, this is just trying to work through this question here a little bit, but from the perspective of the bear market, there was a time with regard to ETH where there was appeared to be good resistance at like 1280, approximately 1280.
Yeah, before the ascending triangle broke out.
Yes, and Bitcoin, I think around that time was around 17,000 as well. Okay. If I'm kind of in cash, and I'm saying to myself, okay, if we have a pullback to those levels, then that might be somewhere where I get interested in coming back in for a short.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yep.
If that happens, what I'm struggling with is how much. What is the delta that you apply with regard to the price that you short and your stop loss? Because I've had some times where you get wicked out, and I don't know if you have kind of a rule of thumb, if that's situational for you. Maybe you can speak on that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a great topic, and it's good to hear from you again. I know you've stepped up many times. There's no like set rule of thumb. There's a general idea. Well, first of all, when I'm entering, I'm trying to enter as close to invalidation as possible. So, for example, if your thesis is, we've rejected here every time at 1270, 1280, I'd probably have my stop loss around like, I don't know, 1300. It would be just above. And I need, classical charting tells me I just quick ballpark, I need at least a 3-to-1 risk reward, right? So I'll see that. The other point that I want to make that you brought up is I understand that I often get wicked out, like when I have a good idea. So I'm willing to try again if my trade thesis gets revalidated after it's been invalidated. So I will actually usually try up to about 3 times before I'm like, all right, I'm not going to get chopped out forever. Because if
what time frame do you okay, that's good. I appreciate that feedback. What, like, you're talking about if it happens within a few hours or?
Well, I'm just monitoring. I mean, if I'm awake, I'm monitoring the trade, and I study the trend based on multi-time frame analysis. But my entry is probably based on maybe like a 4-hour, at usually the lowest. But it's more so based on like price interaction with the daily level, and I'm not waiting for a candle close, because I trade during the day. I don't have to like wait, for confirmation. I'm just managing it really intraday, intra-candle. So it's not necessarily about the time frame for me as it is price interaction with the main levels really on the daily.
Okay.
So just be ready to get wicked out and try again. And that's why position sizing is really important, because if you think you have a great idea, and you probably do, but then you kind of maybe go larger than you thought you wanted to, and then you get wicked out, it's really hard to fire that second bullet, even though you think it's a really good idea, and now you're frustrated.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's good feedback. I appreciate that. I had that question. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, man. That's it, folks. You just step up and ask a question. I mean, I'm not like the smartest trader in the world, but I've got some experience, and I'll tell you what I think. I'm just giving you my most honest feedback. Okay, I'm not, I'm going to teach you my style, and you can do whatever style you want. Let's go with one Rich. You're up, buddy.
Hey, what's up, Jeds?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, I'm not a trader, but I hold one token. It's XRP. What's your bottom on there? As an analysis, because like I said, I'm just a holder. I have a bunch of friends that hold it too. So, yep, just a thought from you.
So what the question is, what do I think about the XRP chart?
Yeah, pretty much. The bottom.
Yeah, so it's interesting. We just had that big breakout, and let me pull it up. Let me add it to my watch list real quick so I can give you some detail. We just had that breakout about a month ago, maybe, where it had that, let's pull it up. So we're at 35 cents. It had that move from, 32 up to like 53, 54, right?
Right.
And then the price paused there. It dropped down. It found support at 42 cents.
Right.
And then it bounced up again, and it stopped again at 55 cents, right? So we know right now that 55 cents is where the last run stopped, right? So what that means is if the price now gets above 55 cents, you have a reason to go long, just kind of based on a trend reversal standpoint, right? Regardless of an SEC case or a settlement or whatever. Like, that's all speculation outside of the chart. Right. And I think it's really easy to get excited about that. And then think the price is going to do something, right? In the end, you really should just wait to see if the price does it first, because that will allow you to define your risk. And so if you look at what happened was it rejected at 55, and it came back. It found support again at 42 cents. So essentially for like a 45-day period, it traded between 42 and 55, right?
Right.
But then it broke down. It lost 42. Right.
Broke down to 35, 36 or so.
Yeah, down to like 32 cents at the bottom. And now it's consolidating, right? So you can look at, you look at the daily chart, it's a downtrend, okay? And it just tried to reverse, and it looks like it failed. But that doesn't mean it can't, reverse again and overcome that. So you look at the major levels, low 40s and 55 cents, and just kind of let the price guide you. If SEC wins the case, if Ripple wins the case, and SEC says you're the greatest crypto of all time, and you're the next Bitcoin, right? And if XRP is really going to go to $5, it has to pass 55 cents first.
Do you think
you know what I'm saying?
Do you think ISO 2022 is going to have a big impact on price?
I actually have no idea what that is.
Swift, they're the next cross-border payments for Swift.
Doesn't matter. If it matters, the
No.
price will move. So just watch
Okay.
the chart, you know?
Okay. Awesome.
Because you gotta like what can you control, right? Like narratives and stories are
Nothing,
are
right.
you know. So focus on the chart that lets you control your risk and define your risk, right? I'm long because it just dropped to 32 cents, and I want to buy here. But if it drops maybe below 30 cents, you might get out and say I'm going to reassess rather than holding down to 20 cents or 15 cents, right?
Right.
You always have to define your idea. Even if you say I'm an investor and not a trader, you still have to manage your risk.
Yeah, I still have my stop loss.
Yeah, there you go.
Awesome.
All right.
Hey, thanks, Jed.
Cheers,
Appreciate
buddy.
it.
Thanks a lot. Having fun here. Now we're going. Folks, we have some spots opening up. Go ahead and request to speak. Hit that button in the bottom left. I do want to bring you in on the conversation. I'm Big Cheds on Twitter. Next up, we have Cryptopsical.
Cryptopsical.
What is up? What up?
I was in the spaces when back around like 20K ish when you were basically just telling everyone to sit on your hands, basically.
Good.
And one of your reasons was wait till everyone gives up and flips, and then they don't want to be involved anymore.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if the barometer of that had slightly shifted a bit with it becoming more popular in general, investing in crypto. I wondered if the whole degeneracy mindset had maybe altered where/if that would start to take effect, if you understand what I'm saying.
I do, I do, and thank you again for rejoining. I think the sentiment has started to bottom, and if you've listened to my spaces, my tweets, seen my tweets, my spaces, this is number 22, my videos on YouTube, there's hundreds. I've been saying we need a sentiment bottom. We're not close. As people have been trying to call the price bottom, I've been saying you can't bottom without sentiment bottoming. And sentiment has started to bottom. We've definitely seen that. So I'm now looking for the price bottom because sentiment has bottomed, right? I'm now with my style. And again, everything I say is like how I operate, right? I'm much more comfortable to look for a long if we break above 18.2 or if we get like a deep flush, some kind of a V bottom, because sentiment is bottoming right now. So we've qualified that. We've satisfied that condition that I set out before. And when I said it hasn't happened in the past, it's happening now. So we have started to bottom with sentiment. So now I'm watching for the price to bottom.
I was wondering if like the increase in adoption had maybe thrown that off a little bit.
Not really.
Maybe people are more resilient than they would be naturally.
Not really. I mean, great question, but we're still just human to express enthusiasm near the top and desperation near the bottom. And I think that's still true. So I stand by what I said. I think sentiment has begun to bottom. I think we're close to a sentiment bottom, and I think the price can now bottom.
Thank you very much, Jed.
Thank you, buddy. It's good to hear from you. I hope you do well. All right, Sir Gents wrecked a lot. What's going on?
Hey, Cheds, how you doing, man? Thanks for doing this.
Cool. Appreciate you stepping up, man. That's what I'm saying. I want to hear from you folks.
So I guess I had one question that kind of leads to one more. Could you give me explain to me like I'm 5 of what a market maker is, just in general? Like the way you see a market maker, just explaining like if someone's 5.
Market maker provides liquidity. I mean, it's not like peer-to-peer sales where, like on Craigslist, I want to sell you like a couch and you show up at my house at $20, right? We're buying like theoretical couches and, we don't always have inventory to buy or sell. So there's like a market maker who creates the market by providing liquidity. And they usually own the underlying, assets so they can provide the liquidity. And they try to keep like price balance. So, I mean, every market needs a market maker. You need liquidity for any system to function. So it's just, exchanges. Sometimes exchanges have their own market making service, and sometimes they outsource it to like other firms. So there's all sorts of like under the surface things that happen that allow me and you to have like a bid and an ask, a buy and a sell spread, and to place orders and stuff like that.
So it's basically almost, again, it's like a liquidity pool as well. Is that an easy way to
Yes,
kind of
absolutely. Absolutely.
of both assets within the liquidity pool?
Yeah, I mean that's how I would describe it. And again, I'm not a fundamental analyst, so take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it.
Okay. Now that leads me to another question where I know that Tether, what was it, a few days ago or a week ago, they basically took, or a third party worked with Tether to bring over $1 billion worth of USDT Solana and and do like a chain swap to ERC20. Now, if that is a large market maker, does that basically send, does that, if I'm a market maker and I own a lot of USDT on the Solana chain and I don't see good things out of that chain, is that kind of like a way of saying, well, I want to get out of that market making because who knows where that's headed?
Yeah, that's a great question. I really don't know because I think it leaves it open to interpretation. I can try to draw this parallel. I read about this in CMT, and it talks about something called a Form 4, like in stocks, like an insider, buy or sell.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, insiders sell for all sorts of reasons. Tax reasons, they have something they automatically are going to sell, or they think it's going down. But they really only buy for one reason, right? Because they think it's going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
So, insiders sell for all sorts of reasons. And I would assume market makers move their market making, apparatus around for whatever reason they do. I mean, I don't know. I have no experience in that world. So I would say that you should just be careful trying to draw a conclusion on something where you have just limited information. I mean, what's the point? Because at the end of the day, you still are either going to open up a trade or not. And that needs to be based on what the price is doing, versus support and resistance. So I don't know how valuable it is to try to, read the tea leaves that deeply.
That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. It was just one thing that, like what you said, you shouldn't take one thing and basically come up with an entire thesis revolving around one particular move.
No, there'll be great fundamental analysts who can do that. I'm not one of them, and they might vehemently disagree with everything I said, and that's great. But we all kind of do our own thing. So that's my answer to you. So, all right.
Okay, and thank you. Thanks, Chad.
Cheers, brother. Thank you so much. Good to have you come back. Easy Grind. What is up, Easy Grind?
Good evening, everyone.
Hi, good evening. What can we do for you, friend?
I was trying to send you a DM if I can get a little cash from anyone here to pay my house trains. That's what I just want to ask.
All right. Next up, we have Bufo on the beat. Why don't you go ahead, Bufo?
Blessings,
What would you
Big
like
Cheds.
to say today? What up, brother?
Appreciate the fantastic, valuable content you consistently pump out, man. Your courses are fantastic, especially the free ones. So shout out to you, man.
Thanks, homie.
A quick question. If you can you put on your thinking hat for a bit of dubious speculation?
It's being washed. My thinking hat is in the laundry right now. So.
Man, where are people getting this theory of 100K as the next top? Like, is there any validity
That's reasonable.
to this? Like, is it a fib level? Is it a psychological level? Like, where are people getting this from? You know what I'm saying?
Well, look, let's devil's advocate it. And, like, it's always a good idea to be able to argue for both sides because you kind of like, think it through. We do make all-time highs every 4 years, right? I mean, we have so far. 17, 21, like, so 20, 25, so it's not like it's crazy. It's not like I'm surprised or confused by people thinking we're just going to make another all-time high in 2025. We're just going to do what we've always done, right? I get that. And so I understand why people are saying, 100K. I understand why people, and why 100K, if that's what you're asking more specifically. I mean, it's just an easy number to throw out. It's 100K could be shorthand for 112K, or it could be shorthand for 92K. It's just, it's just like a general area. And it feels fun to say, and it's a meme almost, 100K, right? But for me, to reiterate what I've said, I think there's danger in just assuming that the next 12 years of Bitcoin will be like the last 12 years. I mean, the weekly chart has never been this threatened, never been this weak in its existence. So, and we're trading below a prior all-time high. We've never done that before. So I don't just assume we're going to, make a new all-time high. It's going to be neat and clean. But if it happens, they'll be right and I was wrong, and that's fine. But I'm still going to capture the majority of that move because I'm ready to, accept when the trend turns around. I'll just buy back into momentum. So it's not like I'm going to miss it. But, until that happens, I'll be skeptical of it happening. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. That makes a lot of sense. I appreciate you clarifying that for me, man. Wishing you continued success and exponential growth in everything you do. I feel very blessed to have a great person like you in my life to help guide through these times, man, because I'm new to crypto and I'm sure a lot of other people are. A year's not a long time. So, like I said, super grateful to have people like you, man. Wishing you all the best. Thanks a lot.
That was incredibly kind. Thank you so much. Very, very kind. I appreciate that. I'll take a moment to say thank you. Crypto Cat, why don't you give it a shot, man? What's up, Crypto Cat?
Yo, Sheds. Thanks for letting me on. And I appreciate everything you're doing for the community.
Thanks, buddy.
So I think I want to focus a bit on the psychological aspect of trading. I've been in this space for 5 years now and full-time degen trading, surviving this madness.
Yeah.
And I did pretty good in the last run.
Good.
But how do you approach burnouts? How do you approach dopamine, lack of
step away.
dopamine?
You can't stare at the charts all day, right? It will make you blind.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure you're working out. If your sleep sucks, so will your trading, right? So making sure you're eating right, making sure you're exercising and living a balanced lifestyle, because everything needs to be in moderation. Everything, even the things you enjoy the most, even the things that thrill and excite you the most.
Yeah.
And you can't appreciate it until you can step away from it, reflect upon it, and then come back. So you got to find a way to force yourself to step away. I think that's a reasonable challenge that you're having. A lot of people have that. I have hobbies. I love trading, but I love a dozen other things. And so I'm doing those, and I'm just not letting it consume me. So you got to find a way to get some more balance in your life.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's working out in a way, but I feel like I'm getting bored with the charts even at the moment. I'm like, oh my God, how can I?
That's a good sign. That's a good
Yeah.
sign because you're not jumping at every little tiny move. I mean, trading should be boring because most of the time there's nothing good to play.
Okay, cool.
Right? Remember that, right? If you don't ever give in to the boredom, it's going to take away all your money.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
No, it's self-preservation. That's my motto.
Well, listen, you got to stick around. If you don't take care of your bankroll, right? If you just boredom trade, you'll have nothing left when the real opportunity comes around.
Definitely.
I mean, that's just the worst situation. I've been there. I've done it, right? And also, you'll be gun shy because when it comes around, you'll be scared to lose even more money because you've gotten chopped out. You lost it all. So
exactly.
Be patient and step away a little bit. Stepping away is good. So step away a little bit, come back, and go from there, okay?
Awesome, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, bud. Dustin, man, good to see you, bro. What's going on, Dustin?
Hey, Cheds, thanks for having me come up, and I appreciate everything that you do.
Thanks, man.
I was curious if you could take a look at an altcoin chart, Divi, D-I-V-I.
Sure. I don't know that I've heard of that before, or I haven't. I've forgotten about it. Divi.
Yeah.
Divi. It's on KuCoin, right?
Yeah, it's a couple, 2-3 different exchanges, but KuCoin's the major one.
Okay.
I just wanted to, I know it's going down trend.
Yeah. Well, you got something. You have a spring at least. You've got a spring in play, right? You got the break below 0.013. You know what I mean? See how it established lows in August?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then yes, it's a terrible chart and it's bearish.
Yeah.
But there's a long thesis just based on a spring, which is a false break of support and a recapture. So, in that sense, you can say I have a bull thesis as long as it stays above, 014 or 0135, basically.
Totally. Yeah. Right now, I just doing I have most of my divvy or my money into this coin, just because I like the fundamentals of it. But I'm trading a small amount with it, and right now I put in at 0.014, which was it was a part of the um, not a horizontal but a diagonal trend. So I got in on the diagonal.
Okay.
And so basically my sell point right now would be where that top of that spring was at 0.0195 to sell. But is that like a good trade to have?
No, that's not the spring. The spring is around the price movement from the 8th of November through the 18th. The spring is the temporary dip below support.
Oh, the spring down. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
So that's the only reason to want to be long here is that it lost support and it recaptured it. But I mean, candles are giving you some room to pause here. Look at the candle we just had with that big upper shadow, November 19th candle, shooting star. It's not at the upper Bollinger Band, which is where you'd want a reversal candle if you're a bear. But look at that candle. There's a ton of volume on it. It bounced and it was just sold off. Ton of people taking profit. Like, that's not a good sign. And it's probably insiders who just dump into a bounce. I mean, I'm skeptical because this is how most of these things work. That's not a good, healthy candle. Like, with all that volume on that green candle, it couldn't even close like at the midpoint of the day's range. So, what we're doing now is we're bouncing back up into that range. If I had to guess, it's probably the price will probably fail and reject here around like 0.018 or below. But if you're a bull, you've got some hope above 0.135. So, I mean, you're trying. Yeah, you're in the woods. You're trying to start a fire, and you've got some wood. It's kind of wet. I mean, maybe it will start because there's a little dry part, but it's not good overall. So, you got to be really slow and easy with this one.
Yeah, I mean, so basically in the last couple of days or last like week, it's done 100% from the spring.
So what you're saying is you have a downtrend that just bounced 100%. You should be looking to short, right?
But so on KuCoin, you can't short this. It doesn't have it on the futures.
Oh, they got you locked up, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's a smaller coin without that much liquidity. All the liquidity is locked up.
So why are you putting all your money in a smaller coin without liquidity? I mean, it sounds like a mistake.
Because you can stake it for 20%.
That's never been a bad thing in the past, right?
Well, it's a Divi wallet. It's what it's called. It's a decentralized wallet that gives you your coins, your keys, your cheddar. And that allows you to stake in there. And they're also coming out with a lot of DeFi to do a lot of other liquidity providing and stuff like that. So it's mostly decentralized, and that's why it's not so much like a big play as futures goes on KuCoin and stuff like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I hope you do really well on it. I'd say I'd actually be interested if it gets above 3 cents. I think it's got a really good chance to have a nice run if it gets above 3 cents.
Okay, cool.
So I would even add to the position if it gets above 3, because you'd be breaking. See where it bounced in July, it was rejected. See where it bounced in September.
Yeah.
If you flip that, I mean, bulls have a real strong case. So, I would either enter at 0.135 or I would wait till 3 cents. I wouldn't even play in between.
Can I ask one last question?
Sure, go for it.
So basically, they're partnered with La Liga, which is one of the largest soccer leagues by viewership with 1 billion people. And their area is where the World Cup's happening right now. So they're being sponsored in a lot of the stadiums and that kind of stuff. And I believe that's why we're getting a lot of price action right now to the upside. But why? So you don't trade.
Why do you believe that?
Because I feel like having the name in all these stadiums and having commercials and stuff does help price action for people to buy it. No?
I'm skeptical of that. But, I mean, look, it's only on KuCoin.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? I looked up in TradingView. It was the only one I recognized, KuCoin. Nobody's oh, I want to go buy this because I see the name.
Well, so you can open up. Well, not at the moment. That's a good point, though. But you can open up the wallet and you can buy the coin within the wallet itself.
And nobody's going to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But listen, I'll be wrong. I'll be wrong once in a while, and I'm okay with that. But it's 9 out of 100 times. It's just no good. So
totally.
I hope you do well, though. All right, brother.
All right. Thanks so much, man.
Thanks, man. Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's go with Splinter. What's up, dude?
Hey, Cheds, how are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. How you doing, man?
Very well, thank you. So I have a couple of questions that are quite correlated.
Okay.
The first one is, we've been having certain correlation between certain markets, especially DXY, equities, and crypto in the last few years.
Definitely.
These correlations, I think, were broken a couple of weeks ago with the
Yes.
FTX.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you if you have these type of charts when you trade crypto right now.
I don't look at those charts. I look at the DXY chart and then I'll look at other charts, but I don't overlay them, right? Like I never look at a BTC pair chart because I know I have the BTC chart like burned into my mind, right? So I can look at another chart and just know if it's stronger or weaker, right? But to each their own. That's just my style, right? So I don't need to overlay Dixie on the BTC chart or overlay SPY or Q. I can just kind of look at it and see what it's doing and know what's different. I talked to an earlier caller. I don't know if you heard it. We talked about the Dixie. I don't know. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of what my thoughts are. It's still bullish. It's still consolidating. Risk assets want the Dixie to roll over. And, maybe it does roll over here. And maybe, yields stop rising and things cool down. But I don't know. I don't think that's really happened yet. So, those things are still a danger, to Bitcoin.
Okay. And my other question is, some people are expecting a bear market rally for equities right now due to the lack of correlation. Do you think that crypto could have this bear market rally?
Well, equities is in the middle of a bear market rally, right? That started, middle of October, right? And we rallied nicely to the MA 200, at least for the SPY. Now we're below it. The question is, can Bitcoin do a bear market rally? Absolutely. If you look at, compare right now where we are, okay? So we had our big price drop, whatever, the 7th or the 8th. We're sideways for 10 days. Go back in the chart to the middle of June. You see how we had that big drop in the middle of June?
Yeah.
And then we just kind of went sideways a little bit. And then we ripped from 18K to 23, 24, 5K. There's definitely room for a bear market rally. Look where the daily MA200 is. Right now, the daily MA200 is at 22.2K. So you've got plenty of room to run from here to the upper Bollinger or the MA200. If I'm not saying this is going to happen, don't have people quote me later and Cheds is calling for a move, but there's room for a bear market rally. Absolutely. So you're always kind of on watch for that. You're always kind of ready for that. But it's not something I would trade on unless the price gives me something, right? I need something based on for example, what is our low? Our low from the 9th is 15.5. So if we drop to 15.2 and then come back up above 15.5, maybe I'd want to go long there because that would be a spring. It would be a false break of the prior low. And then at least I've got some idea I can defend and know when it becomes wrong, right? I'm not just going to buy here hoping for a bear market rally because when is your idea wrong, right? When you've lost 30%, what is that? That's not an idea. So, hopefully that addresses your question.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right, dude. Thank you so much. Thanks for stepping up, man. You've seen my YouTube videos, I assume?
Yeah. I'm actually buying your second book right now.
Awesome. Let me know how it goes, okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. That's Trading Wisdom. You can get it on Amazon in 4 formats. You can get it for free on my YouTube. Look for the playlist. I also have book 3 is about to come out. Trading Quotes. I should attach that to the Spaces. So let me do that. Next we have. Let's go with 4 Estrades. 4 Estrades.
Hey, Cheds. Appreciate you, bro. I got into crypto 2 years ago, 2 Novembers ago.
Okay.
So right at the beginning of the bull run. So I haven't really had the opportunity to buy the gems when they're at low prices, and then experience that run up because I was still a very big noob, just buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano.
Wait, are you saying that you started out and you didn't immediately start hitting grand slams? You know?
Well, actually, you know what? I mean, I kind of did. You know, I bought Bitcoin at like 15K, and then it was like at 60, and I was like, holy shit, this is
That's pretty
amazing.
good.
You know,
That's
it's going to go
yeah.
to, well, you know, it is good, but I didn't get the whole bear market thing until prices came down to like 30.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you know,
Yeah.
that's when I started spending the time really understanding how the markets work and macroeconomics and all that stuff.
Nice.
So I
What have
just
you
wanted
done to
ask.
study macro? How have you been approaching that?
Well, I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm in college, so I'm, you know, full-time student. But you know, I like reading books, watching YouTube. Your videos are great. There's, you know, and basically, you know, the internet is an amazing tool. This is what I
It's
tell all my
ridiculous.
friends. You know, there's so much information out there. So
Yeah.
much of it is free, and then, you know, you find the valuable free information, and then you pay for the amazing information.
There's
You know,
let me interrupt and I'll let you continue.
sure,
But
sure,
like
sure.
right now, there's way more newbie resources than there were like 5 years ago. It's unbelievable. Like someone who's coming in right now, it's just tons of great professional, high quality level free TA on YouTube.
And the best part is you can get, you know, thousands of perspectives, and then, you know,
Yeah.
take the average of those, and, you know, maybe that's going to be an accurate representation of what's going on. So I just
Exactly.
wanted to ask you
Yeah.
how you would go about, or how you are planning, or how you are currently going about researching the, you know, smaller cap gems, if you will, the altcoins that may have potential, may not have potential. Do you find this to be a valuable use of time to begin with? How many would you say is worth to deploy capital into? And then I guess how much of your portfolio are you planning on, you know, trying to hit like these, I guess, as you said, like grand slams, like buy something and then it's like up 5,000% in a couple of years. So if you could
So
just
it's a
speak
really
on that.
interesting question. And so if you look at like the evolution and thanks for stepping up and providing the topic. If you look at like when I started trading, I think my biggest wins were when I started trading and my biggest losses, right? Like I'm writing about this there's an intro to book 3 where I do like my trading story and I'm writing about it, and I've written about it before on my blog and whatever. But like, I wrote something from, like 5,000 to like a 500,000, and then like watched it come back down to like
Yeah.
$5,000. So like I've had my biggest wins and losses when I was early. Like I'm a grinder. I just want profit. And there's been a few times this year I've hit a couple like really nice trades. I actually did really well like on like Sol and FTT recently, but you rarely get that type of a momentum trade where it drops like 30, 40, 50% in spot. And then you can do well with that or derivatives. You do even better. But like you rarely get that type of a big move. Most of the time, I'm just looking for a grinder or like a single. I'm just trying to hit a single, make some profit, let it add up. I'm trying to minimize my losses. And if I get lucky, I have a position I can let ride. I keep moving my stop loss up every time it breaks another resistance. I can move my stop loss up. And it's nice to have those, but those don't come that often for me. So I'm never really aiming for that. I'm trying to just get into profit, move my stop loss up, and then I can go do my errands. I can go do like whatever else I need to do.
Are you spending any time researching the fundamentals, reading the
No.
white papers?
No.
No.
Why? If any of that's important, look, there's better traders than me who you can go talk to right now who probably do that. But no, not for me, because if that's important, the price will tell me, right? Because at the end of the day,
I agree.
the price will either hold support or not, right?
Yeah, totally.
And well, like for example, Sol, I was told when it was at $230, and the fundamentals were unbelievable, and I almost started to believe them. And I remember starting to convince myself that it was going to go to 1,000, just because the momentum and the quote unquote fundamentals. But it's literally the same fundamentals at like 50 as it was at 200.
Yeah,
it's just the price is different. So just for me, fundamentals are speculation and noise and open to bias. The price is really the only truth.
Okay. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. Good luck with school. All right.
Thank you. Good luck.
No doubt. Thank you, bud. Appreciate that. Man, I wish I was back in college. I'd be killing it. All right. What's going on? Crypto Surfer.
Hello, Ted. Nice
Hello.
talking to you for the first time. It's first time on your Spaces, and I've been watching your channel for a while now, and I really like your content. I wouldn't consider myself trader, not remotely. I'm pretty much investor. I've been in crypto for like 5 years now. I think my kind of average price was, especially on Bitcoin, was quite low. Now the thing is that I keep everything kind of in cold storage. I see the prices go up, go down. So literally, I was like from 5,000 to 68, whatever it was. And my question is, what do you see the difference between an investor and a trader? And for me, I'm thinking like, was it a mistake not taking profits? And for me, doing the profits means that actually I don't spend much time on watching the prices or watching the news or watching, I go out about in my life and I'm thinking like, why should I bother if the price is 68? I'm thinking like 10 years ahead. So would you say this is a kind of wrong approach?
That's your answer, right? That's a great answer. It's 10 years. So you're not a trader, you're an investor. It's time horizon, right? A trader is looking to take advantage of a movement away from the trend. Okay? So if you have a really strong trend, let's call it an uptrend, and let's say it's, company whatever, and it's up, keeps going up over time. All of a sudden it had a big dip. A trader's going to come in and buy that dip because it's a movement against the trend. And then they're going to look to take profit. Maybe when the move becomes a little bit overextended in the other direction, they take profit. So you understand the concept of trading. Trading requires you being really active. You have to manage it. You have to learn how to read a trend. You have to know how to manage your stop loss. If you're an investor and you literally don't care, that's fine. You can just buy it. But don't complain if you didn't do X, Y, and Z. Because if you're waiting for 10 years, who cares what you did or didn't do in between? You need to be able to lose the money too. If you're just going to buy something and not watch it, you have to be ready for it to go to zero or to, a million or whatever your plan is. So it has to be based on your skills, your personality, how much time and focus you can put into whether you're a trader or investor. I mean, that's the whole debate with Bitcoin about, do I just dollar cost average, right? And if you're going to do that, the question is when you start. And when, at some point, when is your idea going to be wrong? Because you can't just ride something all the way down. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Yeah. So I was watching your kind of Twitter comments, especially about Michael Saylor, for example. I thought I'm not saying like his plan was kind of something similar, like his approach is like an investor rather than a trader. That's what prompted my question. Like, do you see like a completely, let's say, wrong use case for Bitcoin as an investment, or you're thinking of it as a better tool for trading?
Yeah, so and he's like the greatest example because when he started, he came out with his announcements that he was buying Bitcoin at like 55K. To me it was so crazy because I knew Bitcoin had topped off, and it wasn't like I wasn't telling people. I was screaming it loud and clear on my Twitter.
Yeah.
And it was so weird to me that he would be buying there because felt like it was pretty obvious that it was going lower. And the replies from people were, he's playing chess and you're playing checkers. His time horizon is 10 years out and you're an idiot. How could you question genius and whatever. And now we're down at like 16K. So, even if you're an investor, you have to manage your risk and you have to at some point say, okay, I'm going to stop here. Here's where I'm going to stop adding, or here's where I'm going to admit my idea is wrong. So I think even if you want to invest and you want to hold for 10 years, figure out when your idea is wrong, would be wrong. And that will allow you to kind of cut your losses at some point. Okay.
Yeah. Good. Thanks. And if you allow me one last question.
Okay.
Into the space of trading, if you would recommend 3 books other than your books.
I already did. If you look at the top of the spaces,
okay.
There are some tweets I've attached. If you scroll to the right, it says new follower packet. And it mentions textbooks, free masterclass tutorials, a link to the free version of my YouTube, Bitcoin Live, where I'm a founding analyst and provide market updates, Twitter Spaces, and then other random study stuff on Twitter, like price, like what's a hammer, and just random little stuff. So check that tweet out. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Thanks,
great.
man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Good
you.
luck, buddy. Thank you so much. These are all great subjects. This is why I love doing this. And if you're learning how to trade, please, you should really take advantage of these spaces conversations. Go watch the old ones, right? It doesn't matter, like maybe the price is different, but we're still talking about the same things. Cy, we've got Cy Witcher.
Yeah. Hi, Chats. Here's
What's going
Sai.
on?
Greetings from Poland.
Oh,
hi. I just want to say at the beginning something about me. It's like I'm in crypto since March last year. So it was the time when everyone was talking about the BTC.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I already have some background in investing in stock markets, so all the technical analysis is not something new for me. And I'm saying this because I want to refer to what you said about all the good materials on YouTube that are free and everyone may learn.
Yeah.
From my perspective, I think that there's so many things to learn from YouTube that when you're a newbie and completely don't know what is going on, it's very hard to choose the right channel or the right.
Oh, you're so right. It's really a great point you're making, and I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, I interrupted you. Go.
I just want to say that I found you on a Bitcoin Live because I knew about Peter Brandt before, and I said, okay, let's. It was a Black Friday or something.
Yeah.
Some promotion. I just bought the subscription. It's really great. That's how I found you, and I think you're a very good guy. You know what you. I mean about like a person. I know.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know what you're talking about,
yeah.
And you're not trying to be someone different than you are. That's what I think. That's my impression.
You're so kind, man. I don't have. It's not a personality. Like I'm not trying to like. It's just like what I do, and I've been doing it. I'm really into it. So, and I also I enjoy helping people because I'm trying to get better. Like when you teach something, that's how you get. You hear me talking in the videos. I've said the same thing in these videos. Like, for me to get better, I have to keep teaching. So, I'm really glad to hear that. It's really super nice feedback. So, thanks, man.
Yeah. So, and now there comes the question. It's a very technical one. There's a very technical one. Regarding all the confusion about Tether, I have a problem because I don't know what to do
Tether
when I'm not. Tether, USDT. When I'm not on my position. I mean, right now I'm waiting for maybe for a good spot to buy.
Yeah.
And my concern is, how should I keep my dollars or euros or whatever?
Yeah.
Because firstly, I don't want to keep it on the exchange. Secondly, I don't know, should I use USDT, USDC? So it's a very personal question to you, what you do in that case.
It's a great subject. That's the thing. If there's not like an easy answer, how is like the average retail person getting their money into the market? And the fact you're asking me, it shouldn't have to be this confusing or complicated. So you're bringing up a great subject. And we have Big Jonas who's joined. I want to hear his thoughts, but for me, like I think Tether's fine. I've been hearing about Tether as long as I've been in crypto, right? Which is 5 years now. And so if Tether goes down, probably the whole thing's going down. Like I'm not going to worry about Tether. I've literally been hearing it every week for 5 years. I think USDC is probably fine. I think Binance USD is probably fine. Like beyond that, I don't know. But I don't know, Jonas, do you have any thoughts on this at all?
Hey, Chads. It says I can ask you anything. How do you keep a turkey from drying out?
Cook it upside down.
Exactly. A couple thoughts about the question, and it's interesting because we're 10 years into Bitcoin Plus, where we just went through this epic bull run. Crypto market cap hit 3 trillion. Now it's like 700 billion. That's a big washout, and people are worried about where they can keep their crypto. Now, not your keys, not your coins, as something that we've been saying for years. So that's nothing new. People know that they can keep their coins on like a Ledger or Trezor or Cold Wallet, if you will. and not keep them on the exchanges, and they know that they have them. But that's not very convenient. What if I want to trade? What if I want to transact? What if I want to reinvest? I got to, upload this, and then I got to pull it back. Not the hardest thing, but it's a little bit. Have your money on exchange like we do when we trade stocks, and feel comfortable with that money still being on that exchange. So it says a lot about where we are now when this question is a valid one. Who's safe? Where can I keep my money? And the people that thought they were in safe places are finding out not only is that the case, but the grift that they were sold is so great that we are still learning these stories every day. New stuff is coming out about how the scam was perpetrated and how it was able to continue and who was involved and how they hid it. This isn't going to end anytime soon. So there is no good answer. I want to believe all good. I want to believe that the other stable coins are that as well. But right now, no one can say that this one is good because this one is not good. And I think even Coinbase is trying from a PR standpoint to handle that very fact. And I think this is where the market is. Now, if Tether does implode, and what does that even mean? I don't know what that even means. Think about it. People have to convert their Tether, right? They're kind of converted to Bitcoin. Wouldn't they convert to Bitcoin? And wouldn't that spike the price of Bitcoin even temporarily? And I'm kind of reminded about a daily candle that this happened to before the 2018 collapse. It was around like 6K, and then it had this, intraday spike, almost $1,000, and then it gave it all back, and that was the top. And that was that kind of last little push up, screw all the longs, and then you drop it. And I was thinking about what would happen if there was a run on Tether like that. And we've actually seen the past week or two Tether's market cap drop by several billion, people taking a little off the top possibly. But this isn't over yet, and there's a lot of things left to drop, and it'll be interesting to see how we play out through the rest of the year. I'm in no rush. I'm in no rush to buy. I'm in no rush to try and find a bottom, catch a bottom. There's still a lot that has to play out.
Yeah, but what about his question about the stable coins and like what's safe in terms of the stable coins?
I just answered that. There is no answer. If I'm telling you that you could feel fine keeping your money in stable coins, then I'm basically so it's basically this same thing as saying, a month ago, well, I feel firm having my money in FTX, or I have firm having my Bitcoin in BlockFi. I mean, and can't convince me that Tether hasn't been a little elusive, a little shady. Which bank do you use? I can't disclose that. Let's see your on-chain analysis. We're not going to disclose that. I mean, and there's no backstop to this. What we're seeing in FTX, we thought as an industry, FTX would be some sort of a backstop, right? They'll buy all the bad debt, they'll save everybody, they'll keep this thing afloat. They were the bad debt. They were the biggest of the bad debt. So where does it leave us?
Hey, folks, something happened. I didn't know the spaces ended already. Did that end prematurely, or did I? All right. I think we probably like 10 minutes left.
But I was afraid that it's going to be something like this. So just to sum up, what I do is to keep some couple of stable coins, including euro, but the euro is I can keep only an exchange. So my concern is that if I don't keep Tether or USDC or any other stable coin on exchange, which is irresponsible when I put it on my ledger, someday I may wake up and see that Tether collapsed. And so
why?
This is the thing.
I've been hearing that for 5 years, that one day we're going to wake up and Tether is going to collapse. Like, they've got something like 60 or 70% of their treasury, of their reserves are in like U.S. treasuries. So I don't think it's going to happen, man. And if it does, we got bigger
Prove
problems.
it. Prove it. I mean, they haven't proven that. They say it. Have they
So
proven
what are you doing about it with your skepticism? You literally, we've been hearing this FUD for 5 years, Jonas.
One of these days it will stick.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just like one of these days you're going to build that ship in a bottle you've been promising me.
Well, it's been a lifelong endeavor. But seriously, in all seriousness, and just speaking from like, the consumers in America, because we talk about it from an American perspective, but I mean, there's a lot going on in Asia. There's a lot of exchanges, right, that are based out of Asia that are still, up and running. Non-audited, of course. We don't know what the deal is, and they're offshore, so that's even more of a thing. But so is FTX, right? So if Binance and Coinbase, right, because for some reason they don't go under or they don't have a major issue of fraud or regulations, then maybe those two could be those safe havens and add that stability to the market. And with time, trust can potentially be restored. But people talk about the contagion of Bitcoin. Well, it was only 3 trillion and now it's only 750 billion. So even if it all goes down a lot more, it still pales in comparison to like the market caps of Apple and the New York Stock Exchange and the gold markets and Forex. Sure, that is true. But what brought down the housing market in 2008, or almost brought down the financial thing? It was the use of leverage, right? It was taking $1 billion and making it look like 30 billion. And we don't know how much leverage is out there still in this market and how that could be tied to the stock market. And we could be in a very interesting moment in the next few months. I really believe that, when there's so much forces, so much headwind against this market in a way we haven't seen in almost a decade. And the Fed is not on the side of crypto right now, which frankly, you could argue the entire Bitcoin bull market was during the entire Bitcoin NASDAQ bull run, hence since 2009. And maybe this is the first time where they aren't going to correlate that well. And listen, this is risk off. Why is Bitcoin and crypto and micro caps, they're the first ones that the money flows out of here? What's held up the best over this, tough year of trading? Apple, Microsoft, even though they're down a lot, they're still relative to some of their peers hanging on. Of course, some of them have really collapsed, like Facebook, Amazon down a bunch, but other stocks have actually done very well this year. So it's about where you're looking and your perspective. Obviously, no one's been really safe or unscathed in crypto, more or less, and that's kind of the nature of the beast. But what we're seeing here is Bitcoin is just not strong, and it's taken everything down with it.
All right, thank you. We're going to move on. Bye. It's good, Sai.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for the topic, buddy.
Yeah, thank you very much also.
Have a good day,
But
brother. Thanks for that.
I think there's
wait, Jonas,
opportunity
slow down.
in these,
Jonas, slow down,
these times, right? Because
Jonas,
with great fear can be, what do they say? Fortune favors the brave, obviously. But that's what I was talking about.
Oh, you stopped. You paused, and then the other guy said, "Thank you for the question." I don't know if
Can't
you
hear
missed
you,
us. They can't hear you. You can't hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No, he can hear me. Everybody else heard me. Yeah, everybody else hears me. Let's see. Vashan. Go ahead, Vashan, man. Thanks for being patient. What would you like to say, Vashan?
Hey, Cheds, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's going on, bud? How you doing?
All right, I'm good. It's good to hear your voice on the air again.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So I guess two things. Well, first I should, as always, just say thank you for the amazing content that you guys continue to put up on Bitcoin Live. Keeps me sane these days. So that's great. Yeah, two things. One is sort of like a short-term kind of trading, I guess, kind of question, and the other is sort of a bigger, maybe slightly bigger picture question. First off, like as we speak, the markets are pushing into the lows. I mean, across the board, right? Like Bitcoin is down at 15.9, edging towards its sort of, the recent low that we had, whatever, 15.4, 15.6. Ethereum is also pushing towards the lows of its range. BNB, I think, kind of passed below kind of an important threshold. I think it was around the 250, 255.
Oh, wow. Oh, look at that. Wow.
Right. Sol is right at the bottom. And so I guess my question is, when we hit these sort of bottom areas where there's clear support or there's been support, if it breaks support, are you going short, or are you going to go short? And then if it pops back up, you see sort of that failed kind of breakout, and now you're going long. And my concern going short right now is, man, I mean, everything is so down. I mean, where do you, at what point do you just sort of think to yourself, maybe now is not the right place to be shorting at all, and just wait for a reversal, on a breakdown?
So we talked about, it's great to hear from you again. Definitely recognize you. We've talked a bunch. For me to short, my style, like I'm shorting a bounce, right? I'm not shorting a breakdown usually. Like if I want to short, me, right? Like I want a move to fade, right?
Right.
So I'm actually rather looking for a long on a breakdown, because I'm looking to see if it can recapture it. And now we have a spring, right? Like I'm watching a move and expecting, okay, it's going to screw everybody because everyone just sold, or, like long triggers, just stop losses just hit. Now it's going to run, So I'm either watching to see if that lost support is recaptured, right? Or if I want to short, I want it to bounce first. I need some meat on the bone, because it's too easy to short a breakdown and you just get wicked out, right? You've got no room for error. You've got no wiggle room, right? You need a move to fade.
So you would wait for a breakdown, come back up, either test sort of that low support or break it, and then break again.
Like Sol, right? Like what's Sol? Like $11? I'd rather short Sol at 15 after it just bounced, I wouldn't necessarily, like, I'm not going to short a slow bleeding chart. I may short, like in BNB, maybe, because it's like a 10-week range. Like if you break down like a really well-established level, then maybe that's fine to do that. But in general, I'm looking to short a downtrend that just bounced, right? That's what I'm looking for. Just like, the first thing I'm looking for is that. I want to fade the move. All right?
Yes. And then, given that, okay. So then the other question has to do with sentiment. Like you look across, crypto, Twitter, and just everywhere, sentiment is doomsday-ish. It's all about rumors swirling about, DCG and, oh my God, Genesis, and Grayscale, and Tether, and like everybody's coming up with every scenario they can think of as to why you're going to get, 600,000 Bitcoin hitting the market any moment now. Right?
Yeah.
Like, at what point, really, does that not feel like you're hitting kind of that really bear market low in sentiment?
Yes.
Or
I don't know if you heard earlier, and I think I talked about it in BCL. And if I didn't, I feel bad. Like I should have. Like sentiment is bottoming, is starting to bottom. Right? Now we just need the price to bottom, right? Like I'm more open to a price bottom forming now that sentiment bottom has formed. Jonas, what is your read on that, like sentiment wise?
Yeah, I disagree. I don't think
we can't hear you.
Say that.
Hold on a second. Can't hear you. Give Twitter access to your microphone. All right, we'll give it a moment while he figures that out. Yeah,
we can hear him, Teds. We can hear him.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, we can hear Jonas.
You can hear him. For some reason, the two of us can't hear each other. So, Jonas, go ahead, because I can't hear you.
All right. So my thoughts on sentiment. Yeah. So, all right, the reason that, yes, it seems like, right, because the price is down a lot. We've just had weeks of relentless, negative news. Invite me to co-host. I'm gonna leave this.
All right, that is it, folks. Yeah, this Twitter Spaces from yesterday, it ended abruptly. There were some audio difficulties, and we tried to fix it, and it was actually my fault. I ended the space abruptly. So I want to apologize for that. But I want to remind you, if you are wanting more, you go to my YouTube, all right? Click on that playlist for Twitter Spaces. There's 22 conversations. Really encourage you to check that out. I think you'll enjoy those. Check out the Masterclass TA tutorials. Basically, we'll teach you how to do trend analysis, really help you get started. You definitely want to watch these before you start trading. Check out the quick market updates. I did a live stream last night, an emergency live stream. I did that last night. Check out the free version of my book, Trading Wisdom. I have 18 lessons up. It looks like it's time for me to do another one. So I'll have lesson 19, let's say the week after Thanksgiving. That book is available on Amazon right now. You can get that in 4 formats: Kindle, hardcover, audiobook, and paperback. And of course, I'm a founding analyst at Bitcoin Live, the best-in-class educational platform for crypto. I've been doing market updates there for over 4 years. I do on a Wednesday and a Sunday report. And when you sign up, you get access to everyone's content, not just mine. I think it's the best team in the world that studies crypto, so I'm really proud of that. And I'd encourage you to check it out and let me know what you think. Anyway, I'm going to do another Spaces. I'll probably do another one, maybe even this week. We'll see. But I really enjoy that I can talk to you folks and touch base with you and hear from you. So I want to say thank you. I mean that. So thank you, folks, very much. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Big Cheds out.